Dhabi. I'm from Sussex, Upper Dhabi. Welcome back everyone. As promised, we're back with our second race of the night in Tier 2 in beautiful Upper Dhabi on a track that is known for not being spectacular, but as we all know, it's only unspectacular if the Mercedes is on track and leading the race. So tonight with our reverse grid, it will be spectacular with Mini Daniel on pole, Basketball Boy in P2, Duradon in P3, Hilltrain P4, Deseret P5, going all down the order to Corleone in P17, who just joined for the second race tonight, so he will be starting at the back as he didn't race in Vietnam. John, what can we expect in race 2 after Vietnam?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Abu Dhabi normally is a pretty dull race. But I'm not expecting that today. One thing I am noticing on this this run around lap 2, the grid, is Duradon in P3 has taken out 2 of the signs already just on his warm-up lap, which is quite interesting really. DRS sign he clean took out, and he's just took out one of the braking boards as well, so I'm not sure what that is, whether he's trying to warm up his tyres in any particular way, but yeah, something I noticed.
Seems like
P3.
he's on a mission just to make clear that everybody who's racing without a racing line won't see the braking points.
Speaking of tyres, if I may, it seems as if the vast majority of the grid are expecting some kind of safety car in this race, which is highly likely. There are only 2 drivers, Dacunya in P10 and Golden Pickle in P13, who start the mediums. Everybody else is on the softs.
Yeah, yesterday we had, if you believe it or not, 4 full core safety cars. That means 2/3, but it felt like the whole race we were just driving behind the safety car from the beginning on, from lap 1 on, and I think at lap 21 to 28 in the 50% race we had a clean race without any yellow flags. It was horrendous just to keep your cool and just to stay calm and collected and just patient. But
I mean, it is a race that will live long in the memory for being the most number of safety cars I think I've ever. I mean, I was driving in the race too. I believe we finished side by side on track, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a great race. It was just too much.
I've never experienced 4 safety cars in one race in my life. I think 3 full car safety cars was the absolute maximum, and 4, it's just a lot. But now we have 4 red lights, 5 red lights. They're going off in a second, and the race will be started here in Abu Dhabi with Mini Daniel on pole, Basketball Boy in P2. Let's see who's exiting the first corner in P1, as Mini Daniel has a beautiful start. Duradon going back immediately and going into the fast right and left-hander. Mini Daniel still in P1. Deseret already gaining a lot of positions up to P2 with some clean air behind him.
We've got a yellow flag. We've got a retiree. Dacunya has retired from the session already. We'll not bring out the safety car.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah. We have some kind of safety car. I can't quite see which one it is. If you,
we have a full car safety car. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have it, and we already have a 5-second time penalty for Golden Pickle, who made contact with Duradon as soon as the safety car was announced. So I personally think that's the Cody way of telling us just to keep your fucking nose out of the other car. But sometimes it's just sometimes it's like the car in front of you just brakes immediately to get the delta right, and you have no chance than just to run in the back of him. But Duradon hasn't got a time penalty, so let's see how that plays out in our incident report. But for now, we just got Mini Daniel still in P1, Deseret in P2. Let's see who gained the most places already. Yeah, Deseret gained 3, Angry Orange already gained 4 places up to P5. And just remember, the restart, the safety car came out pretty quickly, just after Sector 1. And Angry Orange already made up 4 positions. But let's see who's coming into the pits, because they're all on soft tires, and Mini Daniel is pitting. As Hill Train and D-Bizzle, Basketball Boy, we have a lot of guys who are pitting now. Mini Daniel, Hill Train, D-Bizzle, Basketball Boy. We have Would You Rather, Castle France into the pits, Raisin, the winner of the last race, also into the pits. And that changes the order of the grid completely, as Deseret is now the leader of the pack. Angry Orange in P2, Spaceman up to P3, beautiful to see him again at the front. Duradon in P4, Golden Pickle P5, Lil Jim in P6, Corleone is staying out, not going to pit in P7 now, just to smell some points here for Renault. Mini Daniel after his pit stop in P8, Hill Train behind him, D-Bizzle in P10, Castor, Would You Rather, Basketball Boy, Raisin, Germanium. And we also lost Boltex King, not only to Cunha.
Just about to say, yeah. Boltex King, I don't know what happened there, but Boltex King, I thought he pulled into the pits, or whether he's pulled into the pits with the terminal problem. We know Codemasters like to spring surprises on you, but Boltex, I've just seen him to pull into the pits and then decide that this race was not for him.
Yeah, and there's one thing I see right now which is very, very critical. The cars behind the safety car, so Deseret leading the pack behind the safety car is very, very close to the safety car, as all the other boys. They're very, very close, so I would just recommend to just leave a little gap. The game gives you about 30 seconds if the gap is too much to just recreate the old to the other car. And
you are most definitely better having too much space than not enough.
Yeah,
that's my golden rule. I always personally leave a good 6 or 7 car lengths if I can. Even in the run up to safety car coming in, you leave as much space as you can until as late as possible. Leave the space. You don't want to lose your front wing, and you do not want a 5-second time penalty. Yeah,
there's just no reason to just stay behind the car in front of you, because you're just in danger to clip the car and get a 5-second time penalty. And of course the car in front is not responsible for that, so you just have to be very, very cautious. And if you hit another car, you get the 5-second time penalty, and the other car gets it removed, because Codemasters just gives the penalty to both. But of course the car who's driving behind has to be careful.
So it was interesting to see the top 7, Desert Rat and P1, Angry Orange P2, Spaceman, Juradan, Golden Pickle, Little Jim and Corleone. None of those have stopped so far, which I do find quite interesting, because of those 7, 6 of them have run soft tyres from the start, so you'd have thought it would have been prime real estate, as it were, to change over to the medium compound tyres for the rest of the race. Golden Pickle, you can understand, he started on the medium, so he's obviously hoping for another safety car. He'll be quick at the end, but whether or not, if no other safety car comes out, you'd find him quite a bit down the order. And also with that time penalty as well, should he have to serve that time penalty in the pits,
he will.
Everyone else racing full speed, he's gonna drop a fair way down the order, albeit on faster tyres towards the end of the race. It's
also reasonable for Corleone just to stay out, as he started in P17 and is now up to P7, and maybe he just sees a chance here to stay with the guys on the soft tyres to make up some ground and get a little gap to Mini Daniel, who's in P8. And just give me a little hint here, is Mini Daniel on the mediums or hards? Because he pitted.
Everybody who pitted is now running the mediums, apart from Hill Train and P9, who's on the hards. So Hill Train didn't feel like the mediums would go for enough laps. I mean, they're going to be racing. The safety car should come in at the end of this lap. You'd expect all the cars are running together on track.
So from P1 to P7, the only goal is just to go as fast as they can to get as much as a gap to P8 and following, just to get that little extra space to pit and not lose as many places as you normally would. So
I'm on board with Desert Rat and P1.
Yeah.
Safety car lights are off, so he is controlling the pace of the rest of the pack, and we are tight behind in P2.
And they're still very close to the safety car.
They are, but this is not a big run up to the first corner. So the safety car comes in, Desert Rat, and
yeah, we don't want another Mugello. Yeah, their penalties flying in as D Bizzle and Hilltrain make contact, and Desert Rat putting out a beautiful restart here. And we already got an overtake. Spaceman overtook Golden Pickle. He's up to P3 right now. Angry Orange. What happened to Angry Orange? Angry Orange seems to be off. He's going down the Yoda. He spun. I don't know if that's due to contact, but he lost parts of his wing is destroyed on the right side. There may have been contact, as there is a Red Bull who's gone off track completely in Castle France, who maybe got pushed off track, but he lost a lot of places. And the good thing for him is he didn't get any penalties by that.
Yeah, the two Red Bulls have dropped way down the order. Right down, Castle France in P13, Angry Orange P15. Of course, Angry Orange as well was one of those that didn't stop, so he's lost part of his front wing. He's going to have to come and pit. He's going to have to come and change that wing. His entire front leg of his wing has disappeared. The end plate's gone.
John, please talk me through the battle from P6 down to P10.
So P6 down to P10, you've got Would You Rather P6. No, sorry, Would You Rather's up to P5. These boys are fighting hard. You've got P5, Would You Rather, P6 Corleone, P7 D Bizzle, P8 Duradown, P9 Raisin, our friend Raisin, and P10 Hilltrain on the hard tyres is managing to keep up with the rest of the pack. Raisin's taken Duradan for P8. They are running nose to tail from P6 all the way down to P11, P12. Only a handful of seconds between P6 and P12.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's so close. Of course, it's the restart, but it seems like Corleone lost a few places, and he was in the middle of a pack there of 4 cars. And we have Castle France and Angry Orange pitting, so they have both horrific wing damage.
Double stack.
Yeah,
double stack here,
Castle France is in now, and Angry Orange parking behind him. That's very unfortunate for the Red Bulls, but yeah, it is what it is. Mini Daniel left the session, maybe due to frustration, but his AI is not going to pit as he got wing damage. I just hope he joins back, but if not, he will be DNF from the race, as you just can't leave the lobby. You have to come back. If it's due to connection issues, you always have the chance to just come back and continue racing, but it's a danger for all the other cars on track if you have an AI there who's not ghosted. So yeah, we just have to protect all the other drivers, as Desert Rat is still leading the race with a gap of 2.5 seconds now in front of Spaceman. Golden Pickle right behind Spaceman, just half a second. Lil Jim in P4, Would You Rather P5, Corleone P6, Raisin P7, very close to Corleone, maybe going for an overtake here. A beautiful one, but Corleone has his nose in, tries to defend the position, but backs off before losing his wing. A beautiful battle between these two. Raisin in P6 now, Corleone down to P7. And John, just give me some news on D Bizzle and his tires. Is he on the mediums?
So D Bizzle, he put himself on. Yeah, he's on the mediums. He's onto his third lap on the mediums. He's also got a time penalty. We have a few time penalties. We've already got more time penalties during this race than we had on the previous race in Vietnam. We have 3-second penalties for Corleone and Basketball Boy. Hilltrain's got himself 8 seconds worth of penalties. And then with D Bizzle and Golden Pickle both have 5-second penalties. Golden Pickle, of course, still hasn't pitted.
Yeah, and there is a beautiful battle between Golden Pickle, Spaceman, and Lil Jim now, as they all go down into the chicane. Both cars side by side. Golden Pickle up to P2. Lil Jim and Spaceman battling for P3 here.
Side by side, 2 tenths of a second.
As DRS is again very, very crucial around here. And Lil Jim up to P3. Spaceman down to P4. Has to back off here, as Desert Rat's gap increased to 3.2 seconds.
So these top four, you've got Desert Rat in the Alfa Romeo in P1, Golden Pickle in the Ferrari in P2, and then you've got the two Haas teammates, Little Jim and Spaceman. All the top four, remember, have not pitted yet. So they still have to come into the pits to make their mandatory tyre change, 3 of which will be on the mediums, and Golden Pickle will be faster towards the end. He will be on the, well, you'd imagine he'd move on to the softs.
As Little Jim pits.
So Little Jim pits, so he's the first one of the top four to come into the pit. You'd feel his tyres may be getting a little bit worn by now. He's done, what, albeit a few of the laps were under the safety car, but he's been on the soft since the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, the top four, they would have secretly been hoping for another safety car. I think their error may well have been not pitting under the original safety car.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as you said, it seems like Would You Rather already pitted, and he's up to P3 right now on the mediums, and just about 5.5 seconds behind Deseret. So he's the net leader right now, unless there is a safety car.
Well, you'd say, looking at the standings right now, albeit Would You Rather is in P3, he's the net leader, assuming that the other two, well, they do have to pit. P2 in net would be Raisin, so Raisin's made his way all the way up. He was our winner back in Vietnam, and he's made his way up to net P2 because he pitted as well under the safety car. Jim Ranium, net P3, Basketball Boy, net P4, Deep as All Hype, net P5, although the pits of those who haven't pitted yet, the order could all change, and of course a safety car would make everything interesting indeed.
Yeah. And we don't know if there will be another one, especially here around Abu Dhabi. If you've been it, you're already into the wall, and that is normally a virtual safety car, if not a full cause. And Deseret is staying out on the soft tires still in P1. Golden Pickle is now pitting. Golden Pickle is coming in. He will serve his 5-second time penalty in the pits, so he will lose a lot of time. Let's see if his wing is also being changed. It doesn't seem like it, so it's just a tire change, but the 5 seconds, they're hurting brutally. As Spaceman and Raisin, now Spaceman also came into the pits, as Corleone does right now. So the standings are now mixed up.
Everybody is pitted apart from Desert Rat, who is in P1. He is clinging on to all hope that there is a safety car in the next lap or two. Yeah. Otherwise, he could stay out too long. And of course, everybody else would undercut him being on fresher tyres, and he'll drop way down the order. Yeah,
so his only chance to retain within the top 5 is really a safety car, because we have a 5.3 second lead to Would You Rather and another 2 seconds to Raisin, but Germanium is now 12 seconds behind Raisin, so it's a 17 second gap, and if there is a safety car, he will get into P4, but it's never a good idea just to rely on somebody crashing out and just hoping for a safety car, because your strategy will be kind of fucked if it doesn't come out. And it seems like Deseret is now on the flip side of the coin. He has to pit now. He comes into the pits right now to change his tires onto the mediums, as Would You Rather will take the lead of the race right now as he crosses the finish line up to P1. Raisin in P2, just a gap of 1.5 seconds, so Raisin is very much in for the race win here, John.
He is, yeah. Desert Rat might come out in P3 here. I'm not entirely sure if Jim Ranium's going to get him. They're going to be neck and neck. If you want to watch P3, P4, they are going to be very tight coming out pit lane. Desert Rat, does he hold on to P3? They're side by side. Desert Rat and Germanium, P3, P4. Germanium concedes the place. He will have DRS put down the straight, and just behind them is XD Little Jim, and just behind them is Basketball Boy as well. There's going to be a 3-way race down the pit straight for third position. Desert Rat, of course, will have fresher tyres.
I'm really surprised that Deseret is coming out in P3. I thought he would be coming out in P5 or 6, but somehow the time lost in the pits in Abu Dhabi isn't that big.
I think it's a lot shorter because you actually cut under the track to rejoin. It's at turn 3, turn 4.
Yeah, correct.
Join halfway through turn 3. The other Germanium's trying to go around the outside of Little Jim, and he holds the move, makes his stick. There is contact there, Little Jim.
Yeah, but all in all, it was a clean battle.
It's fairly clean, yeah. They did well to hold the traction through the corner. With the left after the full high speed.
As we also lose the teammate of Boltec King and the McLaren Hill Train also DNFs from the race, as Castor France is now decreasing the gap to Spaceman in P9, and there are a few nice battles on track right now, very small gaps. Golden Pickle just 0.8 of a second behind Basketball Boy in P7. Spaceman now next to D-Bizzle into the last corner onto the pit straight, and Castor France right behind them. Oh man, that's a spicy one for the next corners. Let's see what these three are up to. As Spaceman is trying to go on the inside of D-Bizzle, and that was an ambitious move, Spaceman. That was an ambitious move, and you got penalized. Spaceman lost his car trying to go on the inside on D-Bizzle. Just from my point of view, it seemed like it was a bit ambitious. D-Bizzle left enough space and is now down to P10, maybe because of that. And Castor France and Corleone both collected D-Bizzle here in that process. So Castor France is recovering from the incident on lap 1 up to P8 now, gained 4 places in total, but nothing compared to Would You Rather and Raisin in P1 and 2. They gained.
I want to bring you to these two are. There's only 0.6 of a second between them.
They're going at it.
Back to Raisin. Raisin. We need to call him Raisin, don't we? I mean, he's a fucking Raisin. So Raisin.
Sweet as a raisin.
Breaking through the final corner. Here he is, sweet as a raisin. Starting beginning lap 11. So this lap and 3 more. So we've got 4 more laps to go. They've both been on these tyres for 8 laps. So they both pitted under the original safety car.
So it's just down to skill and racecraft now, as Would You Rather and Raisin, I think, have both clean wings. They have. It's Williams against Merck for P1.
Merck gets does he get a better exit? Yeah, the Merck.
And Abu Dhabi, yeah. But we got DRS in play right now. So Raisin with DRS behind. Yeah, it seems like he gets him here, but it's critical because we have another DRS zone coming up, and Would You Rather trying to place his car correctly for the exit of this turn, just to stay close behind Raisin and get him back by. It seems like with a gap of 0.7 of a second, it's enough for Raisin just to hold on to P1 for now. So a beautiful overtake by Raisin with DRS to gain P1 in Abu Dhabi. And
of course, he won Vietnam as well, didn't he? He
did.
He got winner in Vietnam, and he's just made himself. So if I'm right in saying, he's made his way up. How many positions has he made up in this race?
15. Unbelievable.
He has made his way up 15 positions to lead this race.
And Germanium is now right behind Golden Pickle. I unfortunately didn't get if Golden Pickle just overtook Germanium, but Golden Pickle is now in P5, gained 8 positions. Germanium in P6, Basketball Boy about 2 seconds behind him. In P7, as we have D-Bizzle going down the order, losing the place to Spaceman right now, who overtook him now cleanly without any incident. But it seems like D-Bizzle has some problems otherwise. Yeah, he has a damaged wing. He has a damaged wing. That's the reason for being that slow right now. As Angry Orange has a calamity. He's in P12, not gaining any places, 13 seconds behind D-Bizzle. It seems like the race regarding points is kind of over for Angry Orange. That's very, very unfortunate, as he is a quick driver. But
you'd look to sorry if you don't mind me saying, you'd look to Golden Pickle on the soft tyres. You'd look to him to maybe try and catch Little Jim. He's 5 seconds behind. He's 3 laps to go, but he'll have a big pace advantage on the fresh soft set of tyres.
Yeah.
The top 2 are still within 1 second of each other, so they're still. Would You Rather still gaining DRS behind Raisin as the pair of them come up to lap the ghosting Mini Daniel, who obviously left halfway through, went into the pits and then disappeared.
Yeah. And Castor is now 5 seconds behind Basketball Boy, who's closing the gap to Germanium. Just a little bit, from 2 seconds to 1.8, but we're already up to 1 now. But it's always difficult to just explain the gaps, as we have a long straight and different management types of ERS. Some of them use a lot of ERS on the straight, some of them really don't use anything, just to save it up for the last lap. But right now it seems like Raisin has the win in his pocket, as Would You Rather is now out of the DRS with 1.9 seconds, now 2.0 seconds behind Raisin. Deseret in P3 seems very, very comfortable here. And although Would You Rather has a penalty, it doesn't seem like this penalty is too high to get him devoted up down to P3. So
you look, I'm just taking a look at the tyre compounds that these drivers are racing at the moment, and the top two drivers are two of the only drivers that pitted under the original safety car, came straight into the pits, put the mediums on, and they're one in P1 and P2 over 12 seconds clear of P3 Desert Rat, who of course was the final guy to come into the pits. So we did say this before, didn't we, that pitting under the safety car was quite clearly the right option. They were hoping for another safety car, some of the front runners, which didn't come, and ultimately P1 and P2 will be settled by the decision they made to pit early. And
the safety car, or to use the safety car to your advantage in the strategy, is in 25% race. Very, very powerful. It's very powerful. In a 50% race, you have so many laps to go, so many things can happen. You're almost every time going for the 2-stop, just because you're driving more aggressive in a 50% race to gain more time and to gain places. But yeah, it's almost like a sprint race in these 25ers, and if you have the chance to pit under a safety car, yeah, you have to go for it.
Indeed. So we're starting the final lap. Raisin P1, 2.3 seconds clear. Would You Rather down in P2, who also has a time penalty. So you feel Raisin just needs to get the car home now to take his second win from both races tonight, and surely his second driver of the day, coming from, what do we say, 15 positions up to the front. P3 Desert Rat, he's 4 seconds clear of Little Jim in P4. Who in turn is 4.5 seconds clear of Golden Pickle in P5. Germanium P6, Basketball Boy P7, albeit he has a time penalty as well. Casto P8, Corleone P9, and X17 Spaceman P10.
And Corleone is making up time here against Casto. He was 1.9 seconds behind Casto in the last corner, and he's now just 1 second flat behind Casto. So he's going for the DRS on the last straight.
On the main straight, but we have a yellow flag in sector. Oh, yellow flag. Must have been somebody going off there, but we had a yellow flag in sector 1.
Let's see if Corleone gets the DRS here. It was very, very close, between 9/10 of a second and 1 full second, but he didn't get it.
He has it, but he has it. I'm riding on board with it. He has it, but he hasn't utilised it. He hasn't pressed the DRS button. I have no idea why.
And now Casto is just half a second behind Basketball Boy. What happened to him? His wing looks okay, but Basketball Boy is struggling a lot.
Well, Basketball Boy's been on those tyres for 11 laps, so his tyres are obviously hitting the edge.
Yeah, we missed. Oh, and he almost lost it. And we also didn't get the race win from Raisin and Would You Rather in P2, but Casto gained the position. We had to stick here to this battle, as Casto gained the position. He's now in P7. Basketball Boy trying to defend against Corleone.
And he's held on.
And we have penalties coming into play. Corleone gets it. Because of penalties, Corleone gets it.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very intense race, we can say that. And we like to congratulate Raisin here to his second race win of the night with a beautiful, astonishing performance here, gaining 15 places. And we can say that he gets the drive of day, of course. And Raisin gets the win in Abu Dhabi. Would You Rather in P2, Desert Red P3, Lil Jim P4, Golden Pickle gaining 8 positions up to P5, Germanium P6, Castor France recovering beautifully from his incident on lap 1 into P7, Corleone also gained 9 positions up to P8. Basketball Boy in P9. Spaceman getting a point after his incident with D-Bizzle in P10. Angry Orange lost out of the points after his brutal incident in P11. D-Bizzle P12. Gerard on P13. Mini Daniel finishing, I think, on the AI in P14. That means just to protect all the other drivers that he won't start on pole position for the next race. He will be starting at the back because you can't just let your AI drive for you all the races. It's up to you to get control of your car and to drive around the tracks. So
for those that just saw it, I think the final word today has to go to that man on the top step of the podium, winner in Vietnam and also now winner in Abu Dhabi, coming from the back of the grid on his way all the way to the front. I mean, Raisin, what can we say? Well played.
Spectacular performance. Spectacular. Absolutely. Perfect strategy, perfect tyre management, and beautiful pace. And Racecraft, he overtook Would You Rather on the same compound of tyre. They pitted on the same lap, so it was down to Racecraft and skill, and he managed to do it and get the win here in Abu Dhabi. So hats off to him. Beautiful race.
Yeah. Beautiful race. Castor France with the extra point there with fastest lap, doing a 1:36.8. Very similar lap times between a lot of the drivers, all in the 1:36s, the very low 1:37s.
Yeah.
So the top of the field there was fairly similar. Good race as well for little Jim, coming from P14 up to P4. Gordon Pickle as well. As well. So yeah, good race. I enjoyed that race.
Yeah, that was a beauty. That was actually a beauty. And the good thing is also that we didn't have many incidents. There were a few, of course, but we've seen races with a lot of incidents, with a lot of safety cars. The safety car came out once in Vietnam and once here in Abu Dhabi. But all in all, it was clean, hard and fair racing. That's what we want to see, John. So yeah. I want to thank you very, very much for joining me in the commentary booth tonight.
I'd like to thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's absolutely been. And we see you guys next week, next Friday, in the same lineup with John and me in the commentary booth and with all our drivers. Thank you very much. Good night. Stay safe. Take care. And I give you the last word, John.
Well, we've got to give the last word to Raisin. Aged like a fine wine. What can I say? Beautiful performance. It's a shame. Don't drink and drive, folks.
Stay safe. Good night.